Dear valuable students of ALANYA and Sulaiman Pasha University, especially you, the freshmen of this faculty of architecture, by this way I would like to welcome you to our faculty on behalf of my colleagues. So unfortunately, as you may know, due to this pandemic, so we have to let's say set our classes online. In this regard, during this semester, which is going to be in total 15 sessions, we will be with each other. There will be a 3-hour, online settling the program and organization that we are going to work with each other with the course with the title of Introduction to Architectural Concepts. I will be your instructor. By the way, my name is Dr. Hourakhsh Ahmad. So it will be my great pleasure to be with you, to support you, to let's say show the path of architectural let's say destiny that you are going to have starting from today with each other. So it will be my great pleasure to let you know the basic foundation principles and alphabetics and main keywords and characteristics that you may need to know during your entire professional life by this course. So we will be able to try to practice with each other this terminology and keywords. So there are two main actually books that I will try to refer to them as the most famous books for architects, especially for the beginners. The first one, which has been written with Franz D.K. Jin, Introduction to Architectural Concept, and here there are all the terminology which is required for us as an architect, as beginners. We will try to practice with each other, and at the same time there is another book with the name of Presence in Architecture, which contains the decoding the masterpieces of architecture all around the world. We will try to decode these let's say masterpieces to some specific basic elements and principles of design. So in order to be able to understand how this process is working, we will let's say try to develop a strategy to decode, to understand why they are decoding, and from the other side how they have been developed. Since let's say we will also have feedback to the history of architecture to take out again the masterpieces. So we will try to analyze these masterpieces let's say to understand how the concepts and terminologies are involved with each other, and how architects let's say choose which direction based on this which concept and which path and which terminology. So we will be able to discuss these kind of let's say procedure with each other. So it will show the path to you, and you will be able in the future to find your own way, your own self-confidentiality and your own way to be able to design better. So these are the main aim and objectives of the aims and objectives of the course. So to be able, let's say the course will start with the definition of, let's say, of course, with the definition of architecture. What does it mean, architecture? Who is the architect, and what are the definitions since prehistoric till now, and what is the meaning of architecture since prehistoric time till nowadays? So you know that in each term, the term architecture is completely different, is going to be different meaning in different period based on different requirement they have in each period. For example, in prehistoric architecture, just designing the shelter might be let's say architectural project. So, but the definition that we have nowadays is different. So that's why we will define the definition of architecture throughout the history. Then, based on that, we will try to, let's say, focus on the masterpieces of architecture all around the world, to decode them based on their own elements and principles of design. So please keep in your mind that all masterpieces, all projects that you are going to design should be classified in two main parts, which we are calling as elements and principles of design. So elements of design, which are the main basic, let's say, objective elements such as materials, colors, line, shape, mass. Apart from that, we have the principles of design. That we are using those elements with some regulation, which we are calling as principle, to design and define architectural projects. So we will go through these factors. As we discussed, we will discuss principles of design might be balance, contrast, emphasize, form, imaginary, scale, unity, variety, rhythm. These are the factors that we will practice with each other in such a way that to understand the masterpieces and how the masterpieces use these principles in their projects. So we will go with each other on that. Then we will try to define the difference between form and shape, and difference between space and place, how the memory and place, the meaning of the place, convert the space as a place. We will discuss these factors with each other, and then during this semester, again, we will look at the masterpieces of architecture to see how the form transformation appeared in those masterpieces of architecture. So we will take out some basic Platonic forms and all basic Platonic forms which has been developed to masterpieces. We will look at this transformation, how it has been transformed from normal simple project to a masterpiece of architecture. This transformation of the form will be discussed in this lecture. So there are different types of form which exist. We will discuss again about it. So during this, let's say, principles of design, we will discuss about the principles of composition, how the composition of let's say the form, how it might be in such a way that to create aesthetically pleasing environment. We will actually discuss about these principles. That's why we will go with golden ratio to understand the principles of golden ratio in some natural world, and then let's say man-made buildings of history of architecture. We will look at them. That's why the proportion came to design golden ratio is very important. Then that's why we need to know another terminology as an architect, how to design ergonomic in an ergonomic way. It means that how to design for a human to increase the, let's say, maximum efficiency for the people, so people will be relaxed while they are using those, let's say, spaces, buildings, or materials that you and the architect is supposed to design. So ergonomic design will be the main key factor for architects that you need to know. So that's why even for each and every composition that you are going to have as 2D and 3D, we will focus in this course to find to discuss with another terminology with the name of Gestalt Psychology, which has some walls of proximity, similarity, figure ground, continuity, closure. So these are the keywords of Gestalt Psychology that we will focus on them to see how masterpieces of architecture from compositions, 2D compositions or 3D composition, how let's say they use these principles, and so why these are as getting aesthetically pleasing based on these principles from human psychological point of view will be discussed. After that, we will try to focus on the definition of concept. So we will discuss what does it mean, how architects, what are the different classification, how the architects are using these, let's say, terminology to develop their own project. So we will discuss about the idea, concept. Then we will take out some masterpieces, even might be modern or previously designed, let's say, classical buildings. So we will take out to take out the definition of concept. We will discuss what does it mean and why you need to know why each and every architect need to have a concept while they are in the project. What does it mean, and how concept brings identity to a project. We will discuss about these kind of factors and the necessity of concept during the process of design. Then based on that, we will try to, let's say, to see what kind of classification exists in space articulation. So you as an architect, while you are designing in space, how you are going to, let's say, how you are going to work as an architect, classify or articulate these spaces, which mostly have been classified in four main parts. We will discuss about space articulation. In this regard, while we are putting all these elemental principles, factors, and characteristics, we will try to add function to check whether functionality of the form and the beautiness of the form are working with each other together in order to create spaces which are aesthetically valuable for architects and architectural design. So we will discuss these factors with each other in this course, and finally we try again to put whatever you exist you learned during entire semester to put in one definition with the name of aesthetics. So we'll classify aesthetics, which is the science of beauty, how science of learning beauty. So we will try to learn you that you as an architect, you need to be, let's say, aware of these principles, because your final duty as an architect will be aesthetically beautiful project, but simultaneously with creating functional forms. So this will be, let's say, all keywords that you need to know during this semester. We will be with you during this semester. Of course, we will have one midterm and final exams, since this course is theoretical. During this semester, we will try to have exam at the beginning of each session. It might be short quiz, so we will be able to check whether you have learned the objective of the course of the previous session or not. So there will be a quiz for sure. That's all from me as an introduction to this course, and I wish you best luck during this semester, and looking forward to see you in our upcoming semester in our face-to-face, let's say, teaching class in our university. Take care of yourself, stay safe, see you soon.